Hello and welcome to Hippo CMMS. My name is Earl Mina and I work with the training and tech support team with Hippo. Today's webinar is titled Barcoding, how it can help every maintenance team. Here is a look at today's agenda. We will start with a quick introduction, then begin our barcoding tutorial. Topics that we will discuss today include how to generate barcodes, how to scan and use barcodes, and barcoding services provided by Hippo. At the end of the webinar, there will be a short survey that will follow where you can answer a few questions and also ask any of your own. You are also welcome to use the question bubble on your screen to ask a question anytime. However, these questions will be answered after the webinar. Before we begin, I just want to mention that all attendees will be muted. This webinar, however, is recorded and we will send to all attendees and those who have registered. Let's begin. The Hippo software offers a simple and easy to use barcode feature. The purpose of the barcode feature is to optimize your current equipment management process and increase speed and productivity for submitting and completing work orders. The scan code feature starts on the desktop. However, it empowers your mobile users to quickly access all of their equipment maintenance needs right in the palm of their hands. For example, here's a list of some of the key functions that barcoding has to offer. Once you've generated barcodes from Hippo on your desktop, using the scan code feature on your mobile allows the Hippo user to do the following. You can submit work orders, you can access your equipment details, you can access equipment model information, look at your specs and manuals for that piece of equipment, report equipment is down, and also look at current work orders related to that piece of equipment. This list is quite comprehensive, but it's designed so you can get to the information that you need quickly. So let's begin with the first part of our tutorial, how to generate barcodes. So generating barcodes begins on desktop. A Hippo user that has access to the equipment grid will be able to generate barcodes for their pieces of equipment. We're at the enterprise screen. To get to our equipment grid, we'll click on a facility name. Let's look for Hippo Plant. And for those of you that are managing the equipment list and are familiar with Hippo, you'll know that the equipment lives in the facility admin panel, equipment. So let's take a look at generating a barcode for one of our pieces of equipment. Fastest way to generate a barcode for a piece of equipment is to use the scan code column, which is located further to the right on this grid. Now, before we get there, just want to highlight a couple things. You can open up the equipment detail screen by hitting the view icon. During data integration of my piece of equipment, I went ahead and I added things like serial number, asset ID, model information. I've also added some specs and some manuals that are uploaded in the specs panel under facility admin. Why this is helpful is if you are a mobile user and you need to access this information by using the scan code feature, you'll be able to draw up that information quickly, know what you're working on, and also be able to maybe even read some specs to know exactly how that piece of equipment operates. So let's close this equipment detail screen. I'm going to generate a barcode for this piece of equipment. We'll check mark this piece of equipment, scroll to the scan code column, and I can click within this column, and this will give me two options. If I select manual, I can type in the code, and I can tell Hippo what type of code that I have. Now, you would use this feature if you already have some barcodes for your pieces of equipment, and you just want Hippo to generate new ones for you based on the codes that you already have. Now, the codes that Hippo has available to use include code 128, code 39, EAN 8, code 93, EAN 13, and QR code. Some of the most reliable codes that we have are code 128 and QR code. By reliable, I mean that they scan the fastest, although Many of these other ones work just as well. Alternatively, if some of you have never generated barcodes or don't have a current barcode system, Hippo can get that going for you right from your equipment grid. If I close this out and I click on the scan code column again, this time we'll click generate. And notice I don't have a type field to enter any digits. My option here is to just tell Hippo what type of code that I want for my piece of equipment. So we'll go through our list. We'll pick a code that we want. I like to use QR codes. And then I'll hit generate code. And you'll get a confirmation that your code was successfully recognized and generated for you. Let's hit OK. You have your QR code. You have an option to delete that code, or we can hit download. Now, depending on what type of browser that you use, you may see a pop-up on your screen. I'm using Google Chrome, so this is at the bottom of my page, or I can open up the image of the barcode. So as you can see, this barcode contains the asset ID. This is if I have it included in my equipment information. My next step is to print out the barcode. Now, some of you might be wondering, is it possible to generate more than one barcode at a time? Is it possible to generate and print more than one barcode at a time? It is absolutely possible. You can do that by selecting multiple pieces of equipment, which I'll get to in just a bit. And depending on what type of printer you have, if you have a specialized printer label system, you can set up your different images, your different barcodes to print more than one barcode at a time. So let's go ahead and print this barcode. We'll close this window. And while that prints, we'll just do a quick demo of how to generate multiple barcodes. Now, I'll deselect this item because I already have a barcode assigned to it. If I scroll further down the list, I could possibly have some equipment that do not have any barcodes. So for example, maybe we'll do 2 of these beam saws, and we'll use this pump number 33. So these 3 pieces of equipment do not have any barcodes. To generate barcodes for more than one piece of equipment at a time, checkmark the ones that you want to generate a code for. You could click in the scan code column again, or you can simply click on the scan code icon located in the top right corner. From here, you have a couple options. You can use generate code. It will ask you which equipment. Will say selected, or if you're planning to generate barcodes for equipment that have never had a barcode generated for it, we can do not generated. We know our option is selected because we've handpicked the pieces of equipment that we want the barcode generated for. We'll tell Hippo that we want code 128. We'll hit generate code. This confirms that 3 codes were generated successfully. We'll hit OK. And next we'll download our selected barcodes, hit the download button. And as you can see, our 3 codes were downloaded successfully. Now those 3 barcodes have went to one of my downloads folder. I've already printed out that single barcode that we'll use for demo purposes today. So let's go ahead and scan that code. All right, so we've printed our barcode and we went ahead and applied it to our particular piece of equipment. And the idea is on mobile, you'll be able to access Hippo. Let's open up Safari. I already have my Hippo homepage saved as a shortcut. Typed in my user ID and password. Let's hit secure login and log into the mobile version of Hippo. Now this is an overview of all my facilities. I want to jump ahead directly to go to the scan code feature. In the top left corner of the screen, There are 3 horizontal lines. Click on that icon and scroll and look for the scan code feature. Next, we'll hit scan barcode and then hit allow. And then let's scan our barcode. So as you can see, we have a match. This will tell us the QR code type, the code name, and then we can hit show equipment to open up our equipment detail screen. So this is the equipment detail screen. You can see the name of the piece of equipment. I can also see the facility name, that's Hippo Plant. The blue button will allow me to submit a work order. Now, for those of you who are familiar with submitting work orders, it'll take you to the submit work order form. We'll get to that in just a little bit. The orange button is the report down button. If this machine or this piece of equipment is not operating, if it's down, if I have permission, I can report it as down. I can hit details. This will give me the equipment detail screen. That's the serial number, the asset ID. Based on my permissions, I may even see a green button, which will allow me to edit details about that piece of equipment. I can also access model information, serial name, type, model number, work category, a description. If I've also uploaded a equipment model image, I can hit the link and it'll give me an image of my equipment model. As mentioned earlier, I have access to the specs and manuals for this piece of equipment. We'll hit the specs button, click on one of the manuals, and I have the operating manual right in the palm of my hands. The last panel is current work orders. Where this is very helpful is if you were needing to see any work orders that are open related to your 101 pump or your piece of equipment, I can see the entire list of PMs, demands, anything that's open, and as well what their status is. Again, green means not started, blue means in progress, and yellow means on hold. So as you can see, there are a lot of options you have right from the scan code feature. The idea is you'll be able to access your equipment details instantly, as well as submit work orders and look at any other work orders that are open for that piece of equipment. So that's a very quick demo on how to use the scan code feature, how to generate from desktop, as well how to use the scan code right from your mobile. Before we wrap up today, I do want to talk about some of the excellent barcoding services that Hippo has to offer. So if you are a current Hippo customer and are interested in barcodes for your facility, Hippo can use your current existing equipment data and manufacture professional style barcodes. So here's a look at the barcodes. As you can see, barcodes could potentially include your equipment name, your asset ID, your company name. Depending on your needs, we can really customize the barcodes any way that you want it to look. In addition, we also offer auditing and barcode services. For example, if you are an existing Hippo customer and if you're adding a new facility that needs auditing, that is us coming down to your facility and cataloging your entire equipment list, we can also provide a barcoding service. So all of those equipment are assigned to a barcode and labeled. So if you're interested in any of these services or just have some general questions, feel free to email us at support@hippocmms.com, or within your Hippo application, hit the feedback button located under the support and feedback panel. So that's it for our webinar today. This webinar wasn't intended to be very long. Our goal today was just to showcase the great feature that is barcoding. Just a reminder, we will have a short question and comments period that will follow. This is your opportunity to answer some of the survey questions and also ask questions of your own. We will Contact all attendees afterwards with their responses and also send a recording of this webinar. Thank you all for attending and have a wonderful day.